Hi everybody and welcome to today's session. We'll be requiring some hand weights, so keep those close by. We're going to start the session in a 4-point kneel and in a cat-cow stretch. So taking a deep breath in, lifting up through the thoracic spine as high as you can, and then big exhale, lift that gaze up towards the ceiling and arch in the lower back. Again, deep breath in. Take your gaze towards the navel, lift as high as you can, and exhale, bringing those armpits down towards the ribs and looking upwards. Let's do one more. And then we are going to bring our spine down into a neutral position, engaging your core. Exhale and lift opposite arm and opposite leg. Reaching as far as you can with your fingers. Inhale to lower. And then we are going to do the opposite side. The key here is to draw your belly button up and gently melt your ribs towards your hip. Keep your core engaged as you move your leg and your arm up. You don't want to get too high. The objective of this movement isn't how high you can lift your leg and arm, but how far you can extend your fingertips from your toes. Really think about avoiding arching or rounding your back as you move. You want to keep that midsection as still and as stable as possible. Remember to use your breath, exhaling as you extend and inhaling to lower. We want to bring that hand weight into our hand now, and we're going to exhale, raise opposite leg and opposite arm. This time we're going to kick our heel back towards our glutes as we pull back with the arm. Lower and inhale. On the exhale, lift to the same height as we were previously. Bring heel to glute and arm back, and then lower everything down on the inhale. The movement through the arm should reflect an overhead press. So we're wanting to bring that elbow back towards the shoulder and then extend the arm ahead. You can of course do this without a weight if you're finding your balance is unsteady. Form is more important than layering with weights. So if you're finding it difficult with the weight, just let go of the weight and move with the leg. In addition, if your balance is being challenged throughout this, you can keep both arms down on the floor and just raise and lower the leg. It will change the exercise slightly, but it's more important we do things with a correct form rather than layering and doing things incorrectly. Make this your last one, and we're going to lower the weight down to the ground. Bring that left elbow down towards the ground, raise that right leg, and we're going to bring in the right knee towards the right elbow. So we're working through our obliques now, so you need to consider this an almost side crunch exercise, squeezing as much as you can when you bring that knee in towards the elbow. Make sure you take an exhale and then inhale to extend that leg straight out. Just 3 more here, keep going. And this is your last one. Extend out as far as you can and lower the leg. Well done. You can just rotate through those wrists if you have any tenderness. There's a lot of pressure that we're placing on our wrists today. I also like to bring them together like this just to get an extra stretch and release of tension there. Make sure you pause and take time for a drink if you need that. I haven't put in any breaks in these classes, but we are going to move on and get on to the next side. So keep that weight handy. And as we did before, being intentional about engaging that core, lifting the belly button towards the spine, we're going to lift the opposite leg and the opposite arm. Using our breath to guide us and keep that core engaged, we exhale to lift, we inhale to lower. This was just a reminder to find our balance. We're going to take our weight in our right hand now and copy the exercise we did on the other side. Extend out on the exhale and bring that foot in towards the glute and the arms back and lower everything back down. Of the exercise comes with working with your breath, so make sure you exhale to raise, kicking your heel back as far as you can and bringing the elbow just in towards shoulder height. We have 5 left here. Try and keep your gaze towards the top of the mat. We want to maintain a long spine, so avoid looking down towards your hands on the ground. Look further ahead. You'll be so pleased to know we're coming to our last 2. This is your last one. Make it your best one. And as we did previously, we're going to lower that right elbow and forearm down towards the mat, and we're going to work on bringing that left knee to the left elbow. Extending out as far as possible with that toe. You can also bring your gaze towards the elbow as you bring everything in, just to emphasize that crunch in the left side of the body. We have 5 more here. Remembering to exhale as you bring the knee in, inhale as you lengthen out. And we're going into the last 2. This is the last one. Make it your best one. And release, bringing everything down to the mat. Well done. And we can take an opportunity here just to get into the child's pose, leaning backwards and just stretching out through those arms, releasing any tension in the lower back. Taking a few deep breaths in here. And once you're ready, we're going to take those hand weights and we're going to do the next exercises on our knees. If for any reason that is uncomfortable for you, you're allowed to stand. Making sure you have a good grip, we are going to, with straight arms, lift the arms straight in front of us in an anterior raise, open up to a T shape, a lateral raise, and then lower. You really want to lift only up until shoulder height, so try not to get above that, and try and keep the arms as straight as possible without locking at the elbow. We only have 2 here. One last one. And what we're going to do now is add in a slight tilt in, bringing our bums towards our heels and then standing back up as we continue with the movement. So we're just adding in this slight hinge at the hips and then opening out in towards the lateral raise. If this is too difficult, you can continue with the movement as we were when we were still. Make this your last one. And return to center. What we're going to do now is hinging forwards. We're just going to open the arms up towards the side. So no longer in a lateral raise, but more in a fly-like movement. So we want to feel those shoulder blades pinching together at the back. And again, we don't need to go very high with the arms when we're doing this. Keep that gaze forward, not down, so your chin should not be on your chest. These are quick rounds, so we only actually have 3 left, 2 left. This is the last one, and we are done. And getting ready for the next exercise, you're going to want to bicep curl up, bringing the arms overhead, and in a circular motion, bring the weights to meet each other at the bottom, and then again at the top. Now we can bicep curl this one down and just repeat the movement. And what we'll be doing after this one is just continuing with the circular motion. So allowing the weights to meet each other at the top and at the bottom. And you can add in that hinge from the hip as well. Keeping the arms straight and making sure you do not excessively lean backwards when you're standing up straight. Keep the core engaged and the belly button in towards the spine. This is your last one. Meet at the bottom, and we are done. Drop the weights and shake out. Staying in a kneeling position, we are going to straighten out the right leg, And making sure our knee is below the hip, we're going to take one of the weights into our hands so that we can now start with a side bend. And you can feel with your hand just how far down the mat is there, but ultimately you want to keep that left hand towards the hip and make sure that we are bringing ourselves down and up by using those oblique muscles. And in a few more, we're going to be layering on top of this with that top hand carrying the weight. So come back to center, and on the next one, can you extend that top arm and give an overhead press, and then back to center. So we are going to dip towards the side, overhead press, and then back to center. We only have 2 more here. Keep going and make sure you don't rush. Use that breath. This is the last one. You can do this. Nice overhead press and back to center. Fantastic work. Drop the weights down, and we're also going to lower ourselves down towards the mat. We're going to continue on our sides and continue working into those obliques. You will be needing the weight for this, but we're going to bring ourselves down onto our forearms, and we're going to bend those knees, making sure that our hips are stacked on top of each other. We're going to raise up off the ground and extend that top arm overhead. Then we're bringing it back and bringing our knees in towards the chest. So we continue over with that side plank and overhead reach, and then turning back and bringing in the knees towards the chest. If this is proving to be difficult, you can continue with the side plank with the overhead reach and not bring the knees in towards the chest. But if you are able to continue with it, please do. I find the best breathing is to exhale as you bring the knees up in towards the chest, inhaling to lower, exhaling to extend. There's an opportunity to layer here for those of you who still have something left in the tank. So continuing with the side plank with the overhead reach, but now keep your legs straight and raise them up and bring the weight towards them as well. So instead of bending the knees and bringing them to the chest, we're keeping our legs straight and together and just raising them up. If this is too much, you can continue as you were with the bent knees, but try one, you might surprise yourself. We are not here for long, we only have 2 more. Keep the discipline in the timing of the movement, don't rush through. We're getting ready for our last one now. And lower down. Excellent work. Fantastic. Now, this class isn't very long, so we're going to get straight into it and onto the opposite knee so that we can do the opposite side. Holding that weight in our left hand, we're going to get into the side bend. So as I said before, you can place your alternate hand either on your hip or behind your back. You can also place it behind your head, wherever is comfortable for you. We want to work on exhaling and using our obliques and abdominal muscles to bring us back to center. The weight in our hand is initially just here to provide a little bit more resistance. Just one more here. And what we're going to do now is we are going to add in the overhead press. Keep breathing through the movement, keep taking your time, keep working on that alignment. Think about reaching as far ahead as possible as you can with that weight, so stretching that arm out as far as possible. Just a few more here now, just 2 more. Reach overhead, back to center, and this is your last one, make it your best one. And return to center. You can drop that weight, you'll be happy to know. But don't let it get too far away from you. We're going to lower ourselves down onto the mat, retaining that side position there as we're going to get into our side plank with an overhead reach. So making sure we're in a stacked position with the hips on top of each other and the legs on top of each other. When we're ready, we exhale and we lift up those hips off the ground and extend as far as we can with that top arm which is carrying the weight. Bring it down towards your side in a rainbow fashion and repeat. Keep going here. And also, if you're finding this difficult with legs stacked on top of each other, you can do this with the bottom leg bent. So this just gives you a little bit more support and makes it a little bit easier to lift that hip up off the ground. Now there are only a few more here before we're going to bringing the knees in towards the chest. So on the next one, we rainbow the arm overhead. When we return, we tilt and bring those knees in towards the chest whilst lowering the weight. And repeat. Keep it going here, keep the pace. Try not to rush through the movement. Try and keep those legs together, feet together. And very shortly, we will be preparing to keep the legs and feet together, but keeping the legs straight as we bring them into the chest. So this is the last one with bent knees. And on the next one, if it's available to you, continue with the side overhead reach, and then bringing your legs up together and the weight towards your shin. If this is too much for you, you can continue with the bent legs. We're not here for very long. These are the last 4. Keep breathing. Stay tall through that spine. Keep the chin from the chest. We are almost there. This is going to be our last one. Raise those legs up. And we are done. Well done. We're now going to roll over and lay on our backs, keeping our weights handy. And with your feet hip distance apart, laying flat on your back, ensuring that your feet are away from your glutes, extend your arms up overhead, keeping them straight. Take a deep inhale and then exhale out through the mouth with straight arms, bringing them down towards your hips. Inhale to lower, extending those arms, keeping them straight. Prepare and exhale again, extending with the arms, raising up the head, the neck, and the upper part of the back. Continue here. Remember to keep the chin off the chest, keep the gaze between the thighs. We're going to build on this exercise after the next one by bending one knee in towards the nose. So preparing as before, exhale, and as you do so, bring your right knee up towards the nose, keeping the leg bent, and then lower back down. Do the same, alternating with the opposite leg. You can, of course, continue the exercise without this modification. Work with what's available to you today. We are building strength in the abdominal wall, our core muscles, and we are moving slowly with our breath and not rushing through this movement. We are going to layer on this as well if it's available to you. And on the next movement, we're going to raise both legs up into tabletop and keep them in this position. Moving only the arms back towards the ground, keeping them straight. Keeping the legs in tabletop. Do 2 more here. On the next one, as you come up, you're going to release the right hand weight and bring that hand behind your head to provide support. Lower yourself back down whilst lowering that right leg. The weight up above the head, and we're going to continue with the movement as before, but only with one arm and one leg. So your right leg bends in, knee towards the nose, and arm and leg extend back out. We're continuing to raise up our head, neck, and shoulders from the mat, and making sure we exhale as we raise and inhale to lower. Only lower the leg as far as you can without arching into your lower back. We have a few more here. Keep going with that breath, and we're going to layer on the next one. So raising your upper body from the mat, extend the right leg, and with a straight arm, we're going to alternate bringing that weight to the middle side of the knee and the lateral side of the knee. So the lower body stays fixed, and the upper body is moving that weight from left to right with small pulses, really working on the core and the oblique muscles. Last one, and you can lower. Take a nice breath in. Well done. And once you've caught your breath, we're going to do the opposite side. So that means we're going to hold the weight in our right arm, bringing our left hand behind our head, starting with our legs in tabletop. We will prepare, exhaling to bring everything into center, inhaling to lengthen the right arm and the left leg. Remembering we're trying to bring the knee into the nose, and exhale to make sure we get all of the air out. Taking a short pause at the top, don't rush through this. Keep going here. Remembering we have that left hand to support the neck and the head. Don't push your chin down towards your chest, rather press the weight of your head into your hands. Hold at the top here, and now move that right weight to the medial side and the lateral side of your knee. Taking short, sharp breaths. We are almost done here. Make this your last one, and release. Take a nice stretch. I don't know about you, but I felt this. And after you've taken a good stretch here, we're going to move on into our bridge. We'd like to do this bridge with our toes together, heels apart and heels lifted, holding the weights in straight arms. Raise to the top of your bridge, extend the arms straight overhead, bring them over the shoulders and then lower back down. Going back up to the top of your bridge, extend straight arms overhead and then bring them back to center, lowering back down. Keep going here. Think about squeezing those glutes at the top without arching into your lower back. Keep the core engaged. Just use your breath to help you with the movement. Don't rush through, keep the pace nice and slow and intentional. And on the next one, we're going to hold at the top. So raise into that bridge and pulse. Short, sharp movements just at the top of your range, working with your breath. We're not here for very long. Keep pulsing. Nearly done. Keep going here. Keep going with those pulses. And then we're going to hold at the top, squeeze into those glutes, and we're holding at the top and we're just going to extend and lower those arms overhead and then bringing those arms down by the waist, all whilst we're holding at the uppermost part of our pulse. You'll be feeling that tension building in those glutes. Keep squeezing into them. Focus on extending and lowering the arms. Almost done here. Using your breath and lower everything back down. Well done. We can now take a figure of four stretch, just threading your hands in between that gap there and pulling the thigh towards you. Taking a few deep breaths here, swap and do the opposite side. Take a few deep breaths here and really bring that thigh towards you to get the maximum stretch. We're going to roll up into a seated position and just stretch out those arms which have worked so hard. So bringing the elbow towards the midline and stretch the back of those arms, bringing them out, swapping sides and doing the alternate arm. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next class.